Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey of all things. And I didn't play this game when it came out in October. I believe it came out in October, the same month as Red Dead Redemption 2. Instead of playing Odyssey, I played Red Dead 2, which was a better option in my opinion in the end. So a lot of people don't know this about me, but I actually, well, some people know about it about me, mainly my personal friends, but no one on YouTube really. I really like the Assassin's Creed games. I've played all the Assassin's Creed games basically back in like 2009. I saw trailers for Assassin's Creed 2. I thought it was badass. I played the first game, got the second game, played Brotherhood, Revelations, and I've played all the Assassin's Creed games. And I have become enthralled with the story and some of the characters up until Assassin's Creed 3. After that, I just didn't fucking care about some of the characters and the present timeline. And I was just like, what the fuck is the point of having the present timeline anymore in these fucking games after that? Especially in this fucking game, which we'll get into in a little bit. In this game, I hated how they handled the present timeline, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But we're talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Over the last couple months, there's been a lot of controversies, mainly surrounding the whole fact that the grinding in the game it gets really slow after like about the middle of the game whenever spoilers, whenever you find your mother, when you're the main character and you find your mother like halfway through the game or something, the grinding gets really slow, or the leveling gets really slow, and there's like this huge like level gap. Like you're like level 20 or 25 and all of a sudden you have to be like level 35 in order to be able to do like one of the storyline missions nevertheless. And people thought it was ridiculous, but through my experience I went ahead and bought the XP like thing in like the shop anyways, because I was like, you know what, screw it. If it's gonna take like 50 hours for me to get like 5 levels, I'm not even gonna like worry about it. Let's just get the 50% extra XP and just play through the fucking game. So I got the experience booster thing and I played through the game. And for this section of the video, I actually want to talk about overall gameplay regarding side quest, combat, the map itself, and then for another part of the video, we'll get into the story aspect of it. But for now, let's go ahead and talk about the combat. So the combat in this game is exactly like Assassin's Creed Origins, and if you played Assassin's Creed Origins, it's not going to be any different in this game, and I think that's not entirely a bad thing. I liked the combat for what it was worth in Assassin's Creed Origins, and by the way, Assassin's Creed Origins, in my opinion, is a way better game than Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but maybe that's just my opinion. The combat is exactly like Assassin's Creed Origins, you know, and for some people they may not like it. I understand why you don't like it. For me, it wasn't that bad, you know. Eventually there just gets like to a point where you get used to the combat so easily that it's basically in a minuscule difference whether or not like you like the combat or not. It's, you know, it doesn't really end up making a difference in the end anyways. Like once you get used to the combat for what it's worth, you know, you're completely fine with it. But one thing I really do want to say about the combat in this game was how spongy the enemies are. Like, they take a lot of hits. And that was really annoying because in Assassin's Creed Origins, you know, there has to be, like, some sort of, like, balance and with how your abilities and, you know, how your bow works. And in Assassin's Creed Origins, either you kill an enemy with 1 arrow shot or 2 arrow shots like max or depending on your level and stuff. And Assassin's Creed not Origins, Odyssey, it didn't work like that at all. If you wanted to get a 1-shot headshot with a fucking bow and arrow, you had to use the ability like Devastating Shot or like one of the other fucking abilities, and I thought that was ridiculous. I didn't want to have to rely on like one of the special arrows or a fucking ability through your fucking skill tree in order to get a 1-shot headshot with a fucking bow and arrow. I thought that was so stupid. I had no idea why they made it to where that was like that. That's not balanced. That just means that your enemies have a lot of fucking health, and that's not fucking balanced. Especially if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, where they have even more fucking health, which is ridiculous. you're not rewarded for playing the highest difficulty then if you're just, parrying the whole time, dodging the whole fucking time, using your overpowered fucking attacks and the fucking flame sword, because that does like the most amount of fucking damage. Your weapons aren't even doing the damage the fucking fire is. And that's it. That's basically you just, put fire on your sword, dodge roll a couple of times, parry a couple of times whenever you fucking can, because sometimes you forget how to fucking parry, or you forget that that's even a fucking ability, and then you fucking use your overpowered attack, and that's basically it. That's the whole combat of the game, and you just do that over and over and over and over again until the enemy dies, like after like 10 plus hits, because the enemies in this game have too much health. I understand that they were like elite enemies. That makes entire sense because they're supposed to be elite / boss enemies. But the fact that like even like slightly normal like ish enemies, like higher than like the standard like thug kind of like AI, like even those take a lot of hits for some reason. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. One thing I didn't like was the mercenary system. Now, the mercenary system in concept wasn't a bad idea, and I liked how you were rewarded for taking out the mercenaries. But one thing I didn't like about the mercenaries was eventually once you get to like tier 1 after you defeat all these other mercenaries and get to like the highest rank of mercenaries come after you and you kill them, and some of them have like blue items. At that point in the game, you're not gonna want to be using blue items anymore. And it's like, why do they keep giving me blue items? If you're gonna give me items, give me fucking epics or some shit. Like, give me something that's fucking worthwhile. Don't give me like a blue item that I'm not even planning on fucking using anymore. I'm not in the level 20s anymore. I'm like level 50 fucking plus at this point with the new fucking DLC and updates. Like, what the fuck are you giving me, game? Like, you give me something that's fucking worthwhile and something that I'm like probably gonna fucking use. Now it's something I'm definitely just gonna fucking scrap and get the fucking material so I can do some fucking engraving, and that's basically it. I did like the engraving system because one thing I actually really did like as well is you have 3 individual stats: your warrior stat, your hunter stat, and your assassin stat. And depending on which skills and what abilities you had on your clothing and your weapons, they would boost your abilities. So if you had like plus like 19% on assassinations with your daggers, your assassination stat and your inventory would then go up and you would do more assassination damage, as well as your assassination abilities in the assassination tree. And I really liked how you were able to spec your points in a specific tree and have a specific build, like a hunter assassination like hybrid, or like full-on assassination with a little bit of warrior, so you can still do damage in combat. And I also liked how you were able to respec your tree to change it at any point if you just decide to want to do a different playstyle. That was something I actually really liked about this game, because you're not stuck to just one particular playstyle, which is basically just to assassinate when you want to, because this is called Assassin's Creed. Shoot people at a distance because you have a fucking bow and arrow, and then whenever someone gets closer, you get caught because you suck at being an assassin. You do, warrior fucking damage and beat the hell out of people with your staves, your fucking blunt weapons, or just stab the shit out of them with your fucking swords and daggers. And, that's really cool. And for what it's worth, even though the combat's like super basic and it's basically just ripped from Assassin's Creed Origins, some of the moves that you do with these weapons and like the overpowered attacks, they do look cool. They do look really cool, and it's whatever. I feel like the overpowered attacks shouldn't have been locked under an ability, considering that you had overpowered attacks with your focus meter in Assassin's Creed Origins from like the beginning of the game, which didn't make any sense why they did it that way, but whatever, right? I guess side quests can technically go under like story, but not really in terms of like the side quests that I'm particularly talking about, and those that have to involve like the Cult of Cosmos. I'm not really gonna talk about until we get to like around the story part, like related stuff regarding like lore and stuff. The side quests don't feel like they're worth it. Like 90% of them, the 90% of the quests just feel like it's padding. Like it's there so that way like Ubisoft is basically giving you a giant middle finger and say like, hey, that like huge level gap that you got to like halfway through the game? Maybe you should have went and done these side quests, and then they would have given you a lot of XP. Go do these bounties and stuff and get some XP and some money, so that way you can actually, fucking do it. And because I was a completionist going through the entire game, I did platinum the fucking game, by the way. I platinumed the game. Was it worth it? Kinda, because it's another platinum trophy on my account, but it wasn't really that much worth it. The side quests don't feel like they're worth it, especially because with depending on which character you play as, Cassandra or Alexios, because you can choose to either be a male or a female. Your choices, because there's a dialogue option. You have dialogue options like if you're playing like Mass Effect or The Witcher 3, and you have dialogue options, and those don't feel like they really change anything. And one side quest that actually does involve the Cult of Cosmos, and I'm not gonna go into like detail on like what exactly happens, but basically there's a priestess who feels like she's being under attack through the Cult of Cosmos, and she has a sister who's trying to help her. And spoilers, she was a member of the Cult of Cosmos, and it turns out the sisters were actually twin sisters, and you had to choose whether or not you had to kill one of them or the other. And if you kill the innocent one, you end up fighting the evil sister anyways. But if you kill the evil sister or make an attempt to, all that really changes is the fact that the good sister stays alive. But she doesn't do anything in the whole like area that's like filled a whole bunch of dead bodies. That doesn't change later on in the game. It just stays like with places on fire, with people dead, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta make sure like the Cults of Cosmos like don't attack me." Da da da. I'm like, that's it. Like that's all that really changes. Like that's it. Like that's all that happens. You get slightly different dialogue. Different stuff happens, and that's basically it. And nothing else happens. And something that I also noticed that completely takes away from any sort of like replay value was the choices in terms of dialogue, whether or not you're playing as Cassandra or Alexios, make zero difference. And I didn't like that. I didn't like how if you were playing Alexios, your dialogue would be the exact same as you were playing as Cassandra. I thought that was really dumb. I didn't think that was a smart decision in terms of this being an RPG. You know, this is supposed to be a role-playing game. This is supposed to be an action RPG, and it's trying to be like The Witcher 3. It's trying to be fucking Mass Effect. And it's trying to be all these fucking like amazing-ass RPGs where you have a dialogue system and, you know, your choices, you know, change your ending of the game, but it doesn't ever feel like it actually does affect your ending of the game, because the game never notifies you whether or not that was a good or bad decision or not, you know, depending on the situation and depending on which fucking ending you get. The game still doesn't fucking notify you if you're going down the right path or not. You know, it's not like Detroit Become Human. It's not telling you like, oh, certain characters hated this or whatever, right? And I get it. It's not fucking Detroit Become Human, but it doesn't give you like any sort of like difference that's noticeable, right? Like I remember I remember when after I got the ending of the game, right? The ending of the game, I fucking hated it. Later on, I found out that there were actually multiple endings of the fucking game, and I was like, oh, how was I supposed to fucking know that? How was I supposed to know that there were going to be multiple endings of the fucking game? It made zero fucking sense. The game made zero attempt to actually make any sort of way to give me like an incentive to, you know, replay the game all over again. It gave me no incentive to do that because it never notified me that there was a possibility of multiple endings besides, you know, telling me that my actions like actually affect your choices affect like your actions later on, and etc. But throughout all the time that I was playing the fucking game, which is over 100 hours, because I was doing all the side quests and all the side activities, it never felt like it was truly affecting anything, and that was really fucking stupid. I hated that, and that was one of the things I hated the most about the game, was it never felt like I was actually making a difference, and it never felt like my playthrough was really that much different from anyone else's. My playthrough felt so similar to other people's playthroughs, and that shouldn't be what you'd be doing with an RPG, because this game's so obviously trying to be an RPG instead of Assassin's Creed game. If you're trying to be like fucking Skyrim, then be like fucking Skyrim and have people have multiple different fucking playthroughs, because not everyone's going to be playing through the Brotherhood of Shadows, whatever the Brotherhood of Shadows. I think it's Brotherhood of Shadows in Skyrim. I don't remember the name of the faction. I don't remember the name of the faction. But not everyone's going to be playing through that in their fucking game. They're going to either go into the Thieves Guild. They could go into the fucking Thieves Guild. The point is that people have different time or different activities through their playthroughs. That doesn't happen in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Everyone's playthroughs feel exactly the same. So I felt like the entire time when I was playing, nothing was gonna be affected because it didn't matter what I chose. You shouldn't have that happening in your game when you're so obviously trying to be the fucking Witcher 3. If you're gonna be like The Witcher 3, be like The Witcher 3 and have stuff actually mean something. Have stuff mean something like it's supposed to mean it. Don't be like some wannabe action fucking RPG. Don't fucking do that. The side activities were all fucking boring. Like going after like the fortresses and stuff like that, they were all fucking boring to be honest, because all of them had basically the same like idea in mind. Like, oh, go after the elite boss, go after the captains, take out their fucking resources and go after the chest. Oh, you done it already? Oh, I guess well you're gonna fucking do it again because you're gonna do the fucking conquest battles, and that's actually the one thing I actually really liked in this fucking game. The conquest battles were really cool, but there's something I actually really fucking disliked in this game that they did with the conquest battles was it didn't matter which side you chose. We're in the era of Greece where Athens is fighting against fucking Sparta, and I thought you were gonna have a choice of whether or not you were gonna side with Sparta or with Athens, and that was gonna affect your playthrough in some way. But no, the only reason why that exists is to have different combat battles at certain points of the fucking map. It literally does nothing besides just give you like money and like other rewards, and that's it. It doesn't do anything else, and that's such a wasted opportunity. They could have had it actually affect your playthrough and had it different from everyone else's. One person could have been joining with the Spartans, the other could have been joining with fucking Athens, because both had different ideologies, and it could have conflicted with how your character was feeling, because your character, Cassandra, because apparently she's the canon character of the game, she's from Sparta. Her family is from Sparta. Her grandfather is Leonidas himself. So imagine a playthrough where you're siding with the Athenians instead of the Spartans. Imagine how that would have affected your character if it actually affected your playthrough. That would have been a really interesting, and it would have been really good for the character. But because the game fucking decides that it doesn't know who's the fucking main character, so it's going to give you an option between one and the other, it doesn't fucking do anything, and that's really stupid. One thing that now irks me like really badly is the voice acting. I dread the voice acting in this game. If you look at my channel, I review anime, right? That's no fucking surprise. Just look at my name. I review anime, right? If you want to call me a weeaboo, call me a fucking weeaboo. I've heard it 1,000 times. But I know the difference between fantastic voice acting versus really bad voice acting. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey doesn't have good voice acting. You want a good example? Go through a playthrough playing as Alexios as the good guy. He is awful. He doesn't sound fucking... There are times where it sounds like he's supposed to be like energetic, but he doesn't sound energetic. He sounds fucking monotone and bored. And how am I supposed to relate with a character? How am I supposed to want to like persevere with this character through this story of trying to find his fucking family, his mother and shit, if he sounds like he's fucking bored all the time? Like, the voice doesn't match with certain fucking scenes, and just, I don't understand what they were thinking in the fucking studio when they were recording his voice acting, the actor's voice acting. The voice actor is actually like really good, and he had like other performances. Then like, my apologies, but like you did awful in this performance in this game, dude. You couldn't, like, you don't sound energetic whatsoever. You sound honestly bored out of your fucking mind. The only like two like people that had like decent voice acting was Cassandra and Barnabas, and that was it. Barnabas actually sounded like he sounded like an actual fucking person. Like, that's the reason why I think he was actually pretty decent. And Cassandra, she didn't sound fucking bored all the time. That was the difference between her and Alexios. At least she didn't sound fucking bored all the time. You can still kind of hear what she's like, kind of agitated a little bit. You know, you can hear the agitation in her voice. With fucking Alexios, he either sounds bored or he sounds pissed off all the time. And I'm just like, why? Why? Like, why not just get rid of the fucking Alexios or have him be the fucking bad guy of the story, right? And then just play as Cassandra, have her be the main character. But no, Ubisoft couldn't fucking do that because it was trying to be an RPG from the fucking start, and it's really fucking dumb. The ship combat, I hate it. I hate the ship combat. Like, actually, like, traversing, like, over the fucking oceans and shit is, like, kind of beautiful. It's kind of beautiful because it's just peaceful. Your fucking ship crew is, like singing, like, songs and shit. And then sometimes you'll have, like, at certain points of the game, you're, like, Cassandra's talking to, like, Barnabas or Herodotos and all that, and you know that's really fun. But it's like, then you get into a fucking ship combat and it's fucking retarded. I'm sorry for using that word, but it's fucking stupid. I hate the ship combat. Take the ship combat from Black Flag, and reduce it down to where it's good for casuals, and that's it. That's all they did. You just spam arrows, spam javelins. Eventually, you'll build enough adrenaline to do fire arrows and fire javelins. Rinse and repeat, and then sometimes you'll do ramming attacks, and then obviously you'll brace for fucking arrows whenever you have to. The ship combat in this game's fucking awful. I hate it. They could have done so much better. They could have literally done what they did with Black Flag, but no, they didn't want to use the resources, I guess, which is really fucking stupid. There's a couple other stuff that I could mention about the overall gameplay, but I don't want to fucking be here all day, to be honest. Like, overall, the gameplay, at certain points, it's okay. At other points, it's just like, oh, what the fuck? Like, you could have done better. Like, the leveling system. You could have made it easier for people to level up without having to fucking spend money, Ubisoft, but no, you decided not to do that. You decided to be fucking greedy. You know, you're not Ubisoft Montreal. You know, you don't care about the fucking game. You just want to make a profit, which, congratulations, you fucking did, because IGN gave it like a 9 out of 10 or some shit on their fucking review. They rated it higher than fucking Spider-Man, apparently, from what I heard, which is retarded. I'm not fucking trying to be mean, but when I say that again, but it was retarded. That's fucking stupid. Why would you rate Spider-Man being a worse game than fucking Odyssey? That's retarded. I'm sorry, but why? Why would you do that? So, now we're going to get into the story. The story, overall, is very confusing, in my opinion. Right? Even though I've played through mostly all the Assassin's Creed games, the only one that I haven't really played through was Rogue. But looking at it doesn't really interest me that much. And it still doesn't to this day, but I played through like mostly every single Assassin's Creed game, and the story for this game it's not consistent, right? Because at one moment it feels like you're trying to help out in the war with the Spartans and the Athens, but no, that doesn't follow through. And then at other points, it feels like you're trying to go after the cult of Cosmos, and that's the whole reason why you're doing this bullshit in the first place. And then no, it ends up turning out that, like, no, you as the player are trying to find your fucking family. You know, you're trying to find your dad, you find your mom, you find your brother. It turns out he's a fucking dickhead. You were playing Cassandra, of course. He's a fucking dickhead. Turns out you have a fucking stepbrother. He's a dickhead too. He's even fucking worse dickhead. Tries to fucking murder your ass. Whatever, right? The story for this game is really fucking stupid. But the thing that upset me the most was the present timeline stuff. The present timeline stuff was the thing that really got to me the most for the entirety of the story. Because I was just like, why is this even here? Right? What you get from the story in this game is Layla is one of the members of the Assassins in the present timeline. She has an animus of her own. She finds the staff of Leonidas, and she gets the DNA like off of the fucking spear of Leonidas that leads to either Alexios or Cassandra. But for some reason, she doesn't fucking know that. And then she just goes in there thinking that it's one of them, right? And forgive me on not knowing a lot of the lore for this series, because I did do a little bit of research to try to like refresh my memory, but a lot of it I've kind of forgotten. But the reason why I hated the present timeline stuff was because it felt unnecessary. You know, you have Layla there, but you feel no connection towards her. You know, she was in Origins, but she never really felt like... It never felt like she did anything in that game either, right? And then turns out you have all these other characters that were introduced in this game. You see one of them, you don't really get a connection with her. You just see her, you bicker with her. I say bicker, but really they kind of just, you know, go back and forth a little bit with stuff that they have to do, and that's basically it. You go find a fucking lost city of Atlantis and hear other characters that are supposed to be important, but they don't fucking feel important because in the present timeline in this game, they don't decide to, you know, try to get us invested into these characters. The reason why I think it's so unnecessary to have the present timeline in this game, or even at all if they're going to continue doing this bullshit, is if you're going to introduce a new character that's supposed to replace Desmond, there you go. If you're trying to find a character that's supposed to replace fucking Desmond, don't, you know, and it's supposed to be Layla, if it's supposed to be fucking Layla, don't just like give her like a couple scenes in the fucking game, especially when, you know, you're supposed to fucking find Cassandra, because apparently Cassandra was still alive with the Staff of Hermes, and yeah, the staff was supposed to do that, but don't fucking give her like a handful of scenes where she basically fucking does nothing, and just have her say like, oh, I gotta go back into fucking Animus, and da-da-da, right? And there's a couple of lore breaks regarding Darius, with the Legacy of the First Blade, which I'm not gonna talk about in this video. I might make a separate video if I really fucking care enough, but there's a lore break with the Animus, right? Because the Animus was created in order for you to go and look back at your ancestors' memories. You don't control it, but you feel as though you are controlling it. You feel like you're actually there, and you're actually, you know, the ancestor whose memories you're going through, right? So why is it that for some reason having a piece of fucking hair from one of the main characters works, and for some reason, like, why is it conjure up a fucking simulation, right? Because this isn't going back and looking at their memories. This is a simulation that they're doing, because the Animus, if you try to go too far back, the Animus will completely just throw you out of the machine, and you won't be able to do anything. Right, that's what was set up in the universe. That was set up in the lore for the game with how the Animus works. But for some reason, just having a strand of fucking hair from this character from all the way back in history, since before Bayek in fucking Egypt, it doesn't make sense. It's a fucking simulation, because obviously it doesn't know whose fucking hairpiece it is from the fucking Staff of Leonidas, because it can't fucking tell if it's either Alexios or Cassandra. And from what I've fucking seen, it's apparently Cassandra, so how is the Animus not able to pick up that it's actually fucking Cassandra's DNA that it fucking picked up? Which is bullshit, because even from a single fucking piece of hair from the real world, we're able to tell who the fucking identity whose fucking is. It's just... This game with its story does so much wrong, and it does so much fucking bullshit that breaks so much of the lore that was established in the previous fucking games. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. Why are you giving us these fucking characters in the present timeline and not fucking doing anything with them? Give us a reason to like these fucking characters in the present timeline if they're gonna be so fucking relevant in the fucking story. If you're gonna have Layla replace fucking Desmond, who you killed off in Assassin's Creed fucking 3, give us a reason to fucking like her instead of just her being there and trying to fucking help out the assassins. And it doesn't even feel like they're trying to help out the assassins in any fucking way. The assassins and the fucking Templars have nothing to do with this fucking game, and the fucking Legacy of the First Blade feels like it contradicts everything that was established in fucking Origins, which retconned what was already established in previous games anyways. it completely breaks what was established in Assassin's Creed Origins. That Darius was the first assassin that used the hidden blade, but he wasn't really an assassin. He didn't have a brotherhood, but he was assassin-like. He was assassin-like Altair and Ezio and even Connor to a certain extent, and all these other fucking characters. He was assassin-like because he was the first person ever to use a fucking hidden blade, but Bayek was the one that created the fucking Brotherhood, the Brotherhood of Assassins, right? But for some reason now he acts so fucking assassin. Like I said, I wasn't gonna talk about the Legacy of the First Blade, but in the Legacy of the First Blade, in episode fucking 1, he acts so assassin-like, and he treats it like he was already the creator of the Assassin Brotherhood in the fucking first place. So why are you gonna contradict that when you already established what it was in Assassin's Creed fucking Origins? Is it for fucking fan service? Because that's the only explanation that I get from this, and from some of the research that I've done from some people's fucking videos. It's all just blatantly for fucking fan service. Is the DLC fucking canon? Is it not fucking canon? You're not making it fucking clear. It has to be fucking canon because Darius was shown in previous games. He was said to be basically the first fucking assassin, but not quoted by fucking name. That's basically what he is here. Like, what the fuck happened? I don't understand, dude. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. They've done so many lore breaks. The story keeps getting really inconsistent, and Ubisoft needs to step up their fucking game. Or else they're just gonna divide a fan base even more than they already fucking have. They're gonna fucking divide a fan base more than they did with fucking Star Wars Episode 8. That's what's gonna happen if they keep this up. It's really fucking stupid. So even though with all of my critiques for this game, I don't entirely hate it. Because I put over 100 hours into this game, and I'm going to be playing the rest of the DLC. As an Assassin's Creed fan, right? Because I want to know more of the lore and the story. For what it's worth, right? Obviously I put in over 100 hours because this game was still obviously very fun. I still enjoyed playing through this game. I never, hated playing through this game. I liked playing through it because it was an action RPG. I played through it as if it was an action RPG. But in my mind, I knew it was an Assassin's Creed game, and I was still treating it like it was an Assassin's Creed game. But really, this isn't an Assassin's Creed game. Because the Assassins aren't doing anything. The Templars aren't doing anything. The closest to the Templars that we get in this game is probably the Cult of Cosmos or even the Order of the Ancients. But, it doesn't really establish that they are the Templars. Their earliest recorded versions of the Templars. It never establishes that. So it's like, how are we supposed to get invested into the story when this is supposedly the first game of the fucking in the timeline of the universe, when Origins does a better job of doing that, especially because it's the origins of the Assassin Brotherhood. Like, why not just have that be the first game in the timeline? Why couldn't you just keep that a thing? Why you gotta be so fucking inconsistent with your story? Overall, like I said, it wasn't a bad experience. I liked playing through this game. I thought it was fun. But overall, there was still stuff that really irked me and really pissed me off. And the story was just getting so inconsistent, and it did stuff that it should have done, but it didn't do for some reason. Like the present timeline bullshit. You're giving us so much less of it because the vocal minority, which is, the casual fans, are saying that they don't like it. One of the best things, in my opinion, about Assassin's Creed 3 was, the present timeline stuff. Especially with Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood did the present timeline stuff perfectly. And it's like, they didn't fucking give us anything that the true fans want. We want more of the present timeline stuff because they can make that interesting. But if you're not even gonna fucking do anything interesting with it and just are gonna give us a whole bunch of pointless fucking bullshit ass scenes with Layla doing fucking nothing basically, why even have us do anything with Layla in to begin with? Why have a present timeline if you're not gonna do anything? Just it just if you're gonna do something, fucking do something with it. Like, please. Ugh. One of the worst things that people are gonna say is the microtransactions, and yes, and I know like every other fucking reviewer is probably gonna say, yeah, the microtransactions were the fucking worst thing. But really, it wasn't, in my opinion. The worst thing in this game was the fact that the lore was completely fucking. It was taken and it was fucking destroyed. They took the lore and took a giant, massive shit on it. And that really upsets me. Especially for, it's happened to me time and time again with certain other TV shows and anime that I've watched before in the past. They've retcon previous stuff that's been established in a series and just decide like, oh yeah, no, we're just gonna change it because we decide to. You can't fucking do anything about it because we already changed it. Screw you. It's really dumb. I fucking hate it. Just keep your shit fucking consistent, at least to some extent. If you're gonna change something, at least have it be logical. The whole stuff with the legacy of the first blade, it's not fucking logical. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Anyways, that's my 2 cents on the game. The game is still fun and enjoyable for what it's worth as an action RPG. But if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, who likes or loves the Assassin's Creed games, and you're playing this game to try to learn more of the lore and the story of the Assassin Brotherhood, or even the Templars, you're not getting that with this game. You're not getting that this game at all. All you're getting it is possibly a very good action RPG. If this wasn't an Assassin's Creed game by title, I imagine this game as any other action RPG could have actually been pretty decent. But they didn't do that. And that's a real fucking shame, to be honest. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I have been recording for a good little bit now, so I feel like it's a good time to stop recording and just end out the video now. But if you did enjoy, and if you do agree with my opinions in the video, leave a like and leave a comment on your own opinions about this game as well. I'm actually very curious as to what you do have to say. Of course, this review is obviously a little bit late because I didn't get it at release. I actually got it for Christmas because, I didn't really care for it when it did come out, and I was mainly only interested in Red Dead Redemption 2. And I played Red Dead Redemption 2. And one final thing I have to say about this game as well, just one final thing. This game felt so unpolished when I played it. It felt so unpolished compared to Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed Origins. It felt so unpolished from that game. And maybe that's because we had 2 years of development for Assassin's Creed Origins and not Odyssey. Because I had multiple frame drops and certain points where the frames would drop so badly that if I even dared to pause the game would freeze and fucking it would crash. And that wasn't fun, but yeah, that's basically it. That's all I have to say about the game. The game is fun and enjoyable as an action RPG, but as an Assassin's Creed game, it's not really all that good. Probably one of the worst. And yeah, that's all I have to say. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you are new, subscribe for more videos just like this. Hopefully I'll be doing more of these in the future, because there's a couple other games I actually want to review and talk about that I have really high opinions about that I think some people are going to be really interested in. And then, of course, if you're interested in any of the anime that I talk about on a weekly basis, watch those videos, watch those reviews, and subscribe if you do enjoy that. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.